Welcome to That Syncs. My name is Dennis. This is the first video in a series on Excel macros. This series is going to be a complete course designed for absolute beginners. I'm going to put together a playlist that starts at the beginning and walks you through everything you need to know. So if you watch the whole playlist in order, you'll be doing amazing things very shortly. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to open the Excel tab, and then I'm going to walk you through all the tools that are on it. Let's get started. Let's start with a simple question. What is a macro? Well, when you do anything in Excel, you typically follow a sequence of steps. For example, you might format a spreadsheet, change the page layout, and then print it. Well, that's all a macro is. It's just simply a set of instructions that tells Excel to do those things for you. You can create a macro without writing any code. Excel has a built-in macro recorder that records your actions so they can be played back later. Once you get a macro working correctly, you can run it over and over and over, and this prevents errors and saves time. I always say, I don't do things, I create macros to do things for me. Excel macros are implemented using Visual Basic for Applications, or VBA. This is the programming language that's built right into Excel. You can use either the macro recorder or the Visual Basic editor to create macros. These tools are installed by default, but many users don't even know they're there. That's because the developer tools are on a tab that's hidden by default. Don't worry, I'll show you where these are and how to use them. As you'll see, creating macros is not that hard. To get started, let's open Excel and select Blank Workbook. First, let me show you the ribbon. All Office applications have a ribbon containing tabs, groups, and commands. So for example, here in Excel, we could see the Home tab, Insert, Draw, Page Layout, and all the other tabs that are visible by default. Back on the Home tab, you can see the groups down here at the bottom, clipboard, font, alignment, and so on. And then in each group, there are a number of tools or commands that are available to you. So that's a quick overview of the Excel ribbon. You'll notice that you don't see a developer tab on there, and that's because, as I said, it is hidden by default because most people don't use it. You can show it though by customizing the ribbon. So let me show you how to do that. I know two ways to customize the ribbon. What I usually do is I right click on the ribbon to bring up its context menu, but you don't want to click on a tool when you do that. So I usually come all the way over here to the right where there's some extra space, and I'll right click there. And that brings up a context menu for the ribbon, and you can see that on there I can choose to customize the ribbon. Now the other place that you can do this is if you go over to the File tab, then down to Options, it'll bring up the Excel Options dialog box. On there, there's an option to customize the ribbon, and either way you get to the same place. I just wanted to show you that there were two ways to get there. So the way this dialog is set up is that on the left you see all of the tools that you can put on the ribbon, and on the right are the tools that you have currently set up on the ribbon. So this left side is what's possible, right side is how it's set up right now. So you can see the left side right now is filtered down to popular commands, but I can show all commands or commands related to a certain tab there. And then as I select those, I can add them over onto my ribbon setup over here. So the right-hand side shows how I have my tabs set up. And you can see the Home tab, the Insert, Draw, Page Layout, just like we looked at before. But here you see the tabs, the groups, and then the tools that are inside each group. So you can see all of these tabs have a little check mark next to them, which means they're visible, except for the Developer tab. And that is the only one of these that is not visible right now. But if I put a check mark next to Developer and click OK, then when we come back to Excel, you can see it did put the developer tab on there. So let me review all of the different groups and tools that are on the developer tab for you. I'm going to go through all of this at a very high level. I just want to give you a lay of the land so you know what's here. We'll go into greater detail into all of this later. You'll notice that we've got 4 groups: code, add-ins, controls, and XML. Over in the code group, we've got the Visual Basic button, which opens the Visual Basic editor so that you can edit code. We've got the macros button, which allows you to see all of the macros that you've recorded and written in the Visual Basic editor. From this dialog, you would be able to run them, edit them, change their options. I'll show you this later. Record macros starts the macro recording process. Use relative references. We'll get into that once we start recording our first videos. I'll show you what that's all about. Macro security is kind of its own topic, so we'll probably cover that in a separate video. There's a lot to know about that. The add-ins group allows you to load and remove add-ins into Excel. The add-ins button allows you to load add-ins from the Office store. The Excel add-ins button allows you to load a type of add-in that was actually created with Microsoft Excel VBA. I'll be showing you how to make one of these types of add-ins later. COM add-ins allows you to load add-ins that support the component object model, or COM. There are a number of different programming languages that you can use to create this type of add-in. It's out of the scope of this course, but I'm sure I'll create a course that shows you how to create one of these types of add-ins. The controls group allows you to work with controls and dialogues. The insert button allows you to place user interface controls directly onto your spreadsheet. These controls are great for building dashboards and reports. I'll show you these later, but there are 2 different types of controls. You've got form controls and ActiveX controls. Form controls are built directly into Excel, and they're simpler, and their properties allow you to very easily hook up the controls to the cells that are in your spreadsheet. So these are probably your first choice. The ActiveX add-ins are loaded from external sources. These are controls written in a different programming language. They're more complex. You can still use them in your spreadsheet. They are a little bit tougher to use though. On the flip side, you've got more control over how the control behaves. Design mode allows you to turn on and off design mode. In design mode, you set the properties of the controls on your spreadsheet. When you're not in design mode, you interact with those controls as any other user would. Properties allows you to view or modify the properties of the selected control. View code allows you to edit the Visual Basic code for a control. This would allow you to change how a control responds to the user of the spreadsheet. The Run Dialog button runs a custom dialog. These are dialogs that are created in Excel VBA. I'll show you how to create one of these later. The XML group allows you to import and export XML documents. We're probably not going to be using this feature in this course, but if you're really interested in it, let me know and maybe I'll cover this in a separate video. I think that's a good place to stop. In this video, we talked about how to customize the ribbon to make the developer tab visible, and we walked through all the tools that are on that tab. So that's the first step in learning Excel macros. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to record your first macro. If you've got questions about any of this, I encourage you to post those in the comments below. I expect questions. This is new stuff for you, so I really appreciate those questions. I will get back to you. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. I encourage you to watch the entire playlist. That way everything is covered in order. If you found this useful, smash the like button and subscribe. I do this stuff for you, so I hope you'll keep watching.